Amanda and I run the Mums, Bums and Tums podcast, which is a podcast all about mums, life, fitness and everything else in between. And today we've got Debs with us, so do you want to introduce yourself?
Where am I doing it to?
You can do it. Look at me. Look at me.
I'm Deb. I have a 3-month-old and I go to Amanda's classes.
And you used to come to me when I first started PT.
I did before I got married.
Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah. And now she's back after baby.
Yeah. Well, you've got to.
Talk to me about the baby.
What would you like to know?
Everything.
He's a general baby.
He's gorgeous.
He is gorgeous, but I'm pretty sure only me and his dad think that.
I think that. He is
you have
gorgeous.
to say that.
No, I don't.
To come on here. Imagine you sat there minging.
Got something to tell you, Deb, and I just thought, do it now.
Thought this is the place to bring it up.
No, he is. He's gorgeous.
He is. He sleeps really well.
Good.
Eats like a pig.
Good.
Farts like a trooper. He's a boy, so what can you expect?
Like his dad.
Exactly like his dad.
I love it. So how have you found becoming a mum?
Loads of people have asked me this, and my answer remains the same. It's just another man in my life who wants something from me. He just can't tell me what it is. He just cries till I work it out.
He is another one to take. For
easier
now.
than the other ones. We'll see.
For now. Wait till it turns out like his dad.
Oh, yeah.
No,
Oh, God.
that's not a bad thing. Rick's good.
No, he's a good one.
He is. So, obviously, you used to come to me when you were wedding prepping. Is that 7 or 8 years now?
Like 7 years ago. Don't embarrass me now.
No, I'm just trying to think.
Well, I got married
I've been
in
a PT
2018, so it will have been
Yeah.
before that.
Yeah, because I moved away 2018,
Yeah.
didn't I? Rude.
You left me,
I did
so I got
leave,
fat.
yeah. Shut up. No, you didn't.
I got married, and the day after I got married, one of my friends rang me and was like, "Hey, do you want to go to the gym?" And I went, "No, I'm married now. Goodbye."
One, I'm married. 2, Amanda doesn't live here, so
Yeah.
no, I'm okay.
Bye.
Thanks. My 2 reasons gone.
Yeah, done now.
But you've got back into it now. Well, actually, no, you got back into it when you were pregnant, didn't you, with me?
Yeah, I just thought whilst I was pregnant, I wanted to sort of eat what I wanted and
Enjoy
just
it.
be happy and enjoy it. And I thought,
Yeah.
I can't also just sit on the sofa and do nothing.
I'm going to pick a battle.
Yeah. And my battle was once a week, come to you and battle ropes.
Yeah. And just feel like I've done something so I can eat them sweets.
Exactly that.
No, but
Leave
you
here,
did
have a coffee and a muffin.
Yeah, you did amazing though, because you did nearly up to the end, didn't you, basically?
I did.
Smashed it.
Well, I still would have done it up to the end. I was just immobile.
Yeah.
I was massive. He was massive.
Oh,
Could
bless
barely
him.
walk on those trotters that I had going on. So
Talk nicely about yourself. And how are you finding getting back into it after him? Because you come to classes now.
do you know what? It's so much easier than I thought it was going to be.
Good.
The classes definitely help
Yeah.
because I don't do any of the mum classes.
No,
It's just not for
you.
me. I'm not someone who wants to have like a forced friendship because we had a baby around the same time.
Yeah.
I've got my friends. I'm happy they've got kids or they haven't. Like,
yeah, you don't need the
I'm
extra.
fine. But coming in, it's nice to just sort of, you chat to other mums, but you don't really.
It's not
But
forced.
it's also, we're all going, this is horrendous. Oh no, we're actually doing all right. We're nearly
It's all
done
right, then
now.
look how cute the babies look.
That one's crying. It's all right, Amanda's got them.
Amanda, come on, you're busy. That's what me for. That's my best part.
I know.
Cuddling all the
I've
kids.
seen you.
I'm in my element. I've found
Surrounded
the
by
perfect-
babies holding 2 different ones.
The other day, I said to them after class, I was like, who wants a sticker? And like 5 kids followed me. And I was like, I look like the child catcher.
I mean, it could be worse if you're offering them sweets and you were outside.
Yeah, I know them.
Yeah.
It's a sticker and I'm not taking them home with me.
Yeah. You try though.
Some of them I would
Some
take
of
home with me.
them you would not.
Bobby I'd take home with me.
That's all right.
Especially if he's a good
Sometimes
sleeper.
He is a good sleeper.
We'll swap. You can have Nala.
Is she a good sleeper?
No.
I could make her a good sleeper.
Okay, let's
Calpol.
swap.
Drugs.
Yeah, anything. No, that's good. So you're enjoying classes.
Yes.
And obviously
100%.
before you had him and we were doing PT, it was more strength based, and now
Yeah.
we've gone to more of like a cardio.
I know I'm
Typer.
not good at cardio. I never have been.
But you're smashing it.
But well, I'm not. But that's okay.
But you
Because I
are,
had a
because you're
baby
3 months
ago.
postpartum. So the fact you're even here
Yeah,
is amazing.
That's what I like. That even if it's only once a week,
Yeah.
I'm not sat in the house. I'm not sat on the sofa. I'm doing something. It's an hour once a week where I know the baby's fine. I don't have to ask like my mum to come and watch him to do something,
Yeah.
or my sister to do something, or Rick to do something. I just come, I plonk him down, I go, okay, I can see him, he's fine.
Yeah.
But I don't have to be hovering.
And you know if he needs anyone, he's got me anyway.
Yeah.
If I'm free.
If
if I haven't got the 10 others. Yeah. I know I need to get like carriers on every side of me and just have them all slotted in.
You really do.
But no, you're doing amazing because the fact that he's 3 months, we came. Didn't you come after 6 weeks?
Yeah, I did a PT session when I got my all clear at 6 weeks.
Yeah. So you've worked
And then
hard.
it was Christmas and I thought, no.
Absolutely not.
This is something for the new year.
Yeah, but that's amazing that you just came that early because I didn't want to.
No, I didn't want to. Of course I didn't want to.
Yeah,
Nobody
true.
wants to.
True.
You want to sit there while everyone walks into your house and goes,
Makes your cups of
isn't
tea.
your baby beautiful? Isn't your house clean? Don't you look fantastic? And that never happens. Your house is always rotten and stinks of baby wee and has nappies everywhere.
And you.
And you stink and you got sick on you and look a
Yeah.
mess. So it was just something where at least I had to put clean clothes on.
I had to wash my face and brush my hair.
Oh yeah, that's great. That's like proper me time, isn't it now?
Yeah.
Can I brush my teeth? Good.
Ooh,
Never-
in peace? Yeah,
I've-
even better.
Honestly, I don't think I've ever brushed my teeth for as long as I do now where I go to Rick. I'm going to go and brush my
Your
teeth.
teeth have never been so
Cleanest teeth.
clean. Yeah. And obviously Bobby was an IVF baby, wasn't he?
He was.
So do you want to talk us through that?
I mean, it depends what you want to know. If you want to know,
How did you find IVF?
I was pretty much okay with it because I've always wanted to be a mum. And
Yeah,
when
yeah.
we decided not to start trying, but just to not avoid it,
Yeah.
you know, I'm sure everyone who does IVF has the same idea. You told your whole life, avoid getting pregnant. You know, you don't want to be that
Yeah.
teen mom and everyone whispers about you. When you actually want to have a baby, it's so much harder than
Yeah.
anyone tells you.
You've literally got like one little window and you
Yeah.
think you can get pregnant any day of the month. You can't.
No.
It's a big lie.
No, that's all we should be educating people.
Literally.
Like, there's 2 days a month. Just
Just
avoid
avoid
it those
them.
2 days and you're
Just
fine.
don't go for a week. Have a week off.
Sit in the house, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Stick Netflix on.
Yeah.
No chill.
No chill.
And so before we got married, we just didn't avoid it. After we got married, we were actively sort of like trying to track cycles and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And then I remember having a conversation with one of my friends, and we both said at the same time, we're walking through Royden Park, drinking a couple of tiny little cans of beer.
Like it.
And we were both talking and we said, you know, I said, Rick and I have decided we're actively trying. And she said, that's so weird. Me and Chris have as well. And I was like, amazing. We didn't know she was pregnant at the time.
Oh.
So those beers weren't a great
Yeah.
idea, but you know, he's come out fine, so it's okay.
It's fine.
And
What's a
so
couple?
after she got pregnant, I was like, okay, well, have we got something to worry about then? Because
You
we were
start to
sort of
panic,
thinking
yeah.
it at the same time. And then I just thought, you know what? Why don't I just talk to the nurse? I think I was going for like a regular smear or something. I was like, I'll just talk to the nurse. And she said, well, are you actively trying? And I said, yeah. She went, okay, are you tracking your cycles? I said, yeah. She went, well, then there's no harm in going to see a consultant.
Yeah.
So we went to see the consultant and he did all my bloods and he said, well, nothing we can really see in your bloods, but, you know, we'll do every other test we possibly can.
Yeah.
And there's the more invasive ones and there's obviously the straightforward blood tests. So I've
Yeah.
had things like, I don't know how much you want me to go into it.
Go as
but
deep as you want.
I went,
I'm open.
Well, that's what the doctor said, but...
Oh, that's what you said to the
well,
doctor.
yeah. That poor junior doctor who was in there at the time. And we had this, it's called a high cozy. And they basically take a camera and they put a load of dye through your fallopian tubes, your ovaries,
Yeah.
and everything, just to check for blockage. And I had that. That was not ideal. They say a couple of paracetamol. That wasn't helpful.
Not enough.
No. But it never is with women's health, is it really?
No.
They always say a couple of paracetamol, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
And they couldn't find anything there. Rick was tested, couldn't find anything there. So they basically just classed it as undiagnosed infertility. And that's just what it's called.
And that's all you get.
That's all you get. And they say,
my
okay, well,
God.
we can do IVF. And that's it. And you go, okay, well, what are you going to do for
Give
it
me
to
more
work?
information, please. Yeah.
So we technically didn't have IVF. We had ICSI. But if you say to
Yeah.
someone, I've had ICSI, they go, what?
Yeah,
Or they
I've
go,
only
"You mean
heard of it
IVF?"
since knowing
Yeah.
people who've had it. Yeah.
So they take my eggs, they take Rick's sperm, and they basically take the tail off the sperm, put the genetic part into the egg, and they give you your embryos. Well, they don't give them to me, obviously.
Here you go, put them in
Yeah.
the freezer.
Keep them for when you want them.
Turkey based.
So I think you get 2 rounds on the Wirral.
Yeah.
And a round of IVF is however many embryos that are viable is how many you get.
Oh, okay.
So, if they'd have only got 1 embryo from me, that's my first round done after 1. But if I get 12 embryos, you get 12 goes basically till you get your second round.
I didn't realise that.
So it's really dependent on...
that, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And you've got to be under a certain BMI, you've got to be physically fit and well, and, not a smoker, no drinking, all that sort of stuff, which didn't really affect us. That was fine. But, I mean, under the BMI wasn't great because that was like a few weeks of avoiding chocolate. Wasn't happy about it. And then we did our first round.
Yeah.
And obviously none of them worked. But they never give you a reason. They just go, well...
Do they have a reason?
No. They have absolutely no idea.
There's not even like further research to make the next time better?
So the only thing that they say when you're doing it is if you have, say they get 10 eggs from you and they fertilise them, but only 5 of them take.
Yeah.
So you've got 5 embryos there. When they start to like hatch, as they call it, like a hatching blastocyst, some of them, they'll know there's something wrong. They'll either stop or they'll multiply in a way they don't like.
Okay.
And you can opt in to have them like tested on, basically.
Yeah.
Either by embryologists learning how to do it or they can look into the genetics. We opted into that because we both thought, why
what's
not?
to lose?
Yeah, exactly. We can't use it, so fine.
Yeah.
The only thing they then say to you is, if it doesn't work for you, well, we've done what we can hormonal-wise. It's sort of down to your body. And there could be something genetically wrong with that embryo that happens after the stage that we would put it in.
Yeah.
So either your body goes, that's foreign, get it out, or the embryo goes, no, not for me. And off it goes.
See ya.
Exactly. So we did the first round, nothing came of it. And we sort of went, okay, we'll give it a break, but we know we've got another one.
Yeah.
And the second round we did, I think we had 5 embryos, I think. 4 of them were like fantastic, best ones you can have,
Amazing.
Great. And we were like, oh, this is it. And obviously none of those took. And it takes such a toll on your body because you're on estrogen, progesterone.
It's all injections, isn't it?
Injections, it's tablets, it's suppositories, it's pessaries. You've got to take a tablet at a certain time, a certain day, in a certain way.
Yeah.
And while you're living your life,
you can't.
You can't, basically. You can't
That is
drink,
your life.
You can't eat what you want. You can't be too lazy. You can't move too much. Like, you're just in this limbo.
Yeah.
So I did it 4 times with the 4 best embryos we had. And then we got an email from Countess of Chester to say they weren't doing it anymore.
Oh.
We had 1 embryo left and that was being moved to a different facility.
Oh.
And we were a bit like,
worried, yeah.
Okay. So we sort of forgot about it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because we'd done 4 and God love him, Rick said, it's your body that's doing this.
Your choice, yeah.
This is awful for you.
It's probably horrible for him to watch you go through in it as
because
well.
he can't do anything. There's absolutely nothing he can do.
Can't take any of the pain. He literally, they must feel so helpless.
Yeah, it must be horrendous for men, and they don't say anything about it. They just get on with it because
they
you're the
can't
one
because
who's...
you'll chop the reds off.
Well, yeah. I was pretty good hormonally.
Good.
I think.
I'll ask Rick when
we won't. Let's not ask him.
We don't need to
I want to live in my bubble of,
yeah.
like, I was lovely.
Ignorance is bliss.
And so, because we knew this last embryo wasn't a good one, we started looking into adoption. We thought, you know what? We want to be parents.
Yeah.
If this is the way it comes about, who cares? What does it matter where they've come from? Because at this point, it wasn't an accidental thing that's happened.
Yeah.
This is we're actively trying to do this. It's not working for us. If you put all of your hopes on this and it doesn't work, you've got to do something else.
Yeah.
And there's so many people who spend so much money, just keep going and keep going and keep going. And I said to Rick, I don't want to do that. It's fine for a lot of other people, but emotionally, physically, I don't
It's taking the joy out of it as well.
You know, financially.
Yeah.
Do you want to do that? I mean, if you can, great, but we just didn't want to.
Yeah.
So when we were going through the adoption process, you have to go to, certain talks and attend things. And to do adoption, you can't have any embryos left.
Oh.
Because they obviously think if you put one in and we've said this is your child and you get pregnant, I don't want that child.
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
So I went, okay, we've got choice then.
Yeah.
Do we just do this last one and we know it's not going to work? And that's fine.
Yeah.
We don't get emotionally invested. We just go, this is what we have to do to have our
To get
child.
the next step, yeah.
Or you can choose to just get rid of the embryo. And it was genuinely it wasn't a full debate 'cause in the end we were just like, let's just do it. But there was a little
unsure.
It was like, do I want to do it again? Does he want to have to watch me do this again? Do we put all our hopes on
Everything
this?
on
Even if
pause.
we're pretending we don't want to put our hopes on this.
You're
you
always
obviously
going to have
are.
that. Yeah.
And I said, you know what? Let me talk to the consultant. I was given a different consultant and I said, look, I'm doing this one last time. We're not putting anything else into this. Be realistic with me. And he went, we don't know why it's happening. What do you want us to do? And I said, right, well, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. So I want different meds. I want more or I want less. I don't know what it is.
Change
You're
something.
the doctor. Something has to change. Do I need to be more active, less active, eat certain things, don't eat certain things? What have I got to do? Anything that you can tell me that might be upcoming in medical research. And he basically said, no.
Oh.
He said, we can change certain parts of your medication. So he put me on steroids. And I was on quite a decent dose of prednisolone.
Yeah.
Pre the treatment. Then the day we had the embryo transfer is a year just gone. That was the 1st of Feb last year. And I remember we were sat in the waiting room in, where were we? It was in the care facility, but I can't remember where it is now, miles away. But very nice. It looked private. There was beautiful flowers everywhere. I remember that. And I just burst into tears waiting because I've never needed a wee more in my life. You've got to have like a really full bladder to do it. And 2, because I thought, this is it now.
This is the final.
Basically, we know we've got an embryo there. If this goes in and it doesn't work, that's my body. That's nothing else. That's my body going, no, you're done. That's it. You're not going to be a mum. You're not going to be a mum biologically. But that's it. So I just burst into it. I took a picture of myself crying and sent it to my sister, and I was like, she was like, what are you crying for? I was like, because this is it.
It's out your hands as well. So
done.
Having no control is horrible.
Yeah. And I'm not a person who does very well with that either.
No,
While you're physically taking the tablets and physically doing the injections and avoiding, rare steak and things like that, because you have to eat like you're pregnant, basically, until you find out that you're not.
Act as if you're pregnant already, basically.
While I'm doing all that, I've taken control of the situation. That's what I'm doing to make this work. After that, if they said the way to make this work is to lie completely flat for the 2-week wait and you'll get pregnant,
Okay.
I don't know a woman who wouldn't do that, who's gone through it. But they don't say that. They sort of go, live your life as if you're pregnant, take your meds as you do, take a test. If it's negative, stop taking your meds, you'll get a period. And it's not even a big, it's like, these are the facts. It's science. This is our day-to-day. Off you go.
No sympathy at all.
Well, no, but they see it
matter of fact,
like 20 times a day, every day of the week.
I get it.
And, when you're taking your meds, if it so happens to fall that the day that would be perfect for your implantation would be a Saturday or a Sunday, they don't run clinics those days. So you miss a month.
A whole month?
A whole month.
Wow.
Yeah. Stop taking your meds, start again.
Your poor body is, though.
Exactly.
That's a big flaw, that.
Yeah. And when I was doing this, obviously my last one that got us Bobby, I would have been due to have an implantation around December. And they said to me, like normal, start taking your meds. It's absolutely fine. And then I rang them when I started taking them. It's certain parts of your cycle. I rang them because I'd had to start taking them on like a Saturday and they weren't open. I rang them on the Monday and they rang me back Monday afternoon and said, don't know why you're bothering. We can't do it because of Christmas and New Year. Stop taking the meds.
Oh my God.
You've got all your hopes up to that point.
Oh,
and then they go, I don't know why you did. I don't know who told you to do that. That was a stupid idea.
Thanks.
Stop. And
Make
you go,
me feel better.
Okay. And I remember getting really upset and ringing my mum going, I want this over.
Yeah, this is too much.
I know this is not going to work. That's fine. But I have to do this and I don't want to
You need the
anymore.
closure, yeah.
I just need it done. So obviously it did work. So negativity
it was
worked there, didn't it?
Exactly. Just think you're not going to get pregnant and you will.
Yeah. Well, apparently. That's what works for teenagers, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We went in. I remember we sat in this, like you get your own little room with a bed. And I was sat in there and I was thinking, I'm going to wet myself and then they're not going to be able to do it. And this is awful. And the doctor was delayed and delayed and delayed.
Oh.
And honestly, your bladder is bursting. And in the end, one of the nurses came in and said, can you just let out a little bit of wee? And I thought,
Once
who
it
in their mind
starts.
can do that when they're busting? I managed to, but I was too scared to let like too much out.
Yeah.
And I was lying on the bed and I'm thinking, oh God, please let this work. But I know it's not going to work, but please let it work. But I know it's not going to work. And you're trying to psych yourself up, but keep your expectations low.
Yeah.
And it's so like in and out. They go, oh, look, there it is, and show you it on an ultrasound.
Yeah.
And the next time you're going to see an ultrasound is if you're pregnant. That's it.
Oh my God. So
And
do you
you
see
just
them
think-
putting it up?
Yeah.
Wow.
You see, it's a tiny little, I think it's called a stirret, and they get the tiny little embryo on the end of it. They insert it, and it's in a little bit of liquid. Once they insert it, there's almost like a little flash. They're like, it's like a flash of
Yeah.
life, basically, but it's the liquid going in. And they take the stirret out, and then one of the embryologists has to check it to make sure the embryo has come out. I'm pretty sure he didn't come out. He did do it again. I thought,
You little shit.
and I was busting for the loo, and I'm thinking, just do it. And they have to press really hard on your stomach, and you're going, please
Imagine if you
don't.
weed on them.
Please don't wee in this consultant's face. God love her. She's got like 6 other women to see, and she can't do it with my wee.
Stinking away.
And they put it in. They go, it's literally an A4 sheet of paper with your name and the date to do your pregnancy test, and off you go. That's it.
Off you pop.
There's nothing. There's no like follow-up call.
Wow. Suppose there's nothing you can do there. It's
No.
literally up to fate, isn't it?
If you have a bleed early, there's nothing they can do.
If you have a bleed early, would you still have to test?
Yeah.
As normal?
So
Because obviously you can get implantation bleeds, can't you?
yeah, so this was my issue with Bobby was I had a really big bleed. Well, what I thought was a really big bleed. Obviously, you
don't-
start bleeding
yeah.
and you think,
Anything's a
oh my
yeah.
God. So I had a really small bleed and I rang them and said, this is what's happened. And they went, well, there's nothing we can do. So just keep going with your
Just wait
meds.
it
You've got to
out.
wait for your test day. So I did. And I think on the Sunday, and I was supposed to test. Oh no, I found out that I was pregnant on, I can't remember what day it was. And then on the Sunday, before I was having my first scan, which you have at 6 weeks,
Okay.
I had this big bleed.
Oh God.
And I was like, okay, well, you know what? I got to be pregnant.
Oh yeah.
I got to be pregnant for that little bit. That's
yeah.
fine. I can live with that now.
I'll come to terms
Yeah.
with it.
And again, there's nothing they can do once you've bled. They go, well, you've got to wait for the scan.
Oh,
So you
God.
wait in another 4 days.
The longest 4 days of your life.
Oh, God, it was horrendous. Horrendous. And so I'm there having the scan. And God love the nurse who did it. She went, look, I'm going to be really quiet. This has got nothing to do with anything I'm
Whether
going to
it's
see.
good or bad, yeah.
I've got to just look. And I didn't look. I don't
Too
think Rick looked
scared.
either because I thought, what good comes from it? See, it's
Yeah.
empty. What's that going to do for you?
Yeah.
And I just remember she went, oh, congratulations. And I went,
Who to?
me?
To us too.
I was like, what is going on? And I don't think it didn't sink in.
No.
It absolutely didn't sink in. But I said to her, but I had this bleed. And she went, that can happen. It was so like, it's fine.
Yeah.
Look. And she could see, they can't obviously hear a heartbeat, but they can
No.
see the flickers.
Oh.
And they can see, it's because it's not a baby. It's a yolk sac and a pole, I think they call it.
Yeah.
And they go, yeah, there it is. Off you go. And then you hear nothing else
And then you have to
until
wait another 6 weeks.
another 6 weeks for your 12-week scan.
Did you pay for an early one or anything?
No, we
was too
decided we weren't going to
worried.
do any
Yeah.
of that. I didn't bleed after that point, so we went, okay. And, well, both of us decided to tell our families early. So I found out I was pregnant with Bobby probably middle of Feb last year. And I think when I was 8 weeks, maybe 10, it was Mother's Day, and all the women in my family go out on Mother's Day and get
Yeah.
very, very drunk.
I think you needed to tell them.
And I sort of had to tell them.
Otherwise, me and Bobby were getting drunk.
Yeah, otherwise that wasn't going to be ideal. So my sister got a woman who worked like where we were at in this like social club when all of the women in my family were there to say she was taking a picture, and she videoed it. And she was like, okay, everyone smile. And after 3, we're going to say, Deb's pregnant. And it took, you can see on the
They're all
video.
slowly.
And, you know, it was great aunties, they're deaf. It was like,
What's he say?
exactly. And it was, you know, my cousin's face of her going like, like she's in Home Alone, and then there's tears from other people, and then there's my mum's face just like, I knew. So. And we just decided we were going to tell people early, because if it doesn't work, I want to be able to tell people. Well, it was more selfish than that. I wanted to be able to say I was pregnant at some point.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be that person who was never pregnant. You know, it didn't ever happen for me. Woe is me, sort of thing.
Yeah.
I wanted to say, look, I was pregnant. It wasn't to be.
Yeah.
Fine. You know, loads of people lose the embryo or the baby, whatever, before 12 weeks or even after 12 weeks. That has to be the case. But I want to have been pregnant.
Yeah, just to have that experience.
Just to say it and be pregnant for a bit. And, you know, thankfully it really worked out.
Yeah. And now he's here.
The big rolly baby.
And with all of that
struggle. Do you know
amazing.
What? You really do forget any of that struggle. You forget
you do.
The injections and the tablets and the timing and the tears, and because then you've just got a baby that cries like everybody else is.
Yeah. He was worth it though, and it is.
He was.
It's just so shit that it was such a struggle and so hard for you.
Well, if someone's got to do it, I don't mind it being me.
You are very mentally strong though.
Well, I think I've got a great family and friends behind me that were so understanding that, you know, if it had to be anyone, I'm glad it was me.
Yeah.
Because I was fine. You know, there's some people I wouldn't wish it on, but...
Yeah, I think some people just wouldn't cope with it as well. And it's a hard thing anyway. Because it's taxing on your body, your brain.
On your brain.
Your relationship, everything.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't terrible. It wasn't terrible. I remember I only ever let myself have one day to be sad. The day that you test and it's negative, you're sad.
Yeah.
After that point, it's just self-pity and I need to move on, because otherwise you may never get out of that.
Yeah, it's a good way to look at it though, because you can just go down a spiral.
You've just got to I mean, it's my personal way of doing it. I don't know how everybody else deals with it, but if I have my one day to go, life isn't fair. It's really not fair. And this is awful. And I should be able to give my husband a baby and I should be able to do this. And my mum wants a grandchild and my sister wants a niece or a nephew and I want a baby to love.
Yeah.
I can't do this. And after that, you have to go, okay, what do we do next?
Fuck you all. It's about me again.
I've got to do this. This is about me. I've got to do what I need to do.
That's such a good mindset, though, to have, because otherwise you can just
spiral.
Get into that negativity and it becomes you sometimes.
I think it does.
And that's probably why you are so good, why you've been so good the whole way, because you've just...
I'll come here again.
She hasn't paid me about it. Because you are so positive about it. You remember when you came to train with me for the wedding and you were like, I don't want to be here, but I know I've got to.
Yeah.
So let's get it done.
Yeah.
And you're very matter of fact about it.
That's why my diet before the wedding was salty popcorn and red wine, because I knew what I wanted.
Yeah.
I didn't
and
need
you got
the food. I looked great that day.
You still look great.
Not months after.
Yes, you
certainly
did.
Not during COVID. But
that's a different story.
I know, that was wine in the bath daily.
I'd do a workout in the morning, make a smoothie. Yeah, no, I had nothing else to do. I had a very free day.
I had nothing else to do, and
But then I'd make a smoothie, and then I'd be like, let's throw a bit of Malibu in, because why not? It's the middle of the day.
Love that.
And then that was me and Josh for the day drinking.
Love it.
Obviously pre-kids. Couldn't imagine what lockdown had been like with kids.
No, but that's when the baby boom happened for everyone. Nothing better to do.
Yeah, we got pregnant in lockdown.
That was Netflix and chill.
Tiger King.
If that's what does it for you, that's what does it for you.
Oh, no. So when you got pregnant, then how did you find pregnancy? Was it like what you thought?
It was so much easier.
Good.
I had the easiest pregnancy. I'm that person that everyone hates. I really, really am.
Everyone wants to be.
I had 2 days where I felt a bit nauseous in the evening. That was it. It wasn't like I was never sick. I wasn't sick once. I got no cramping, no pains, no headaches, no nothing. I literally was like, okay, I'm pregnant. I'm prepared for this to be horrendous.
Yeah.
And I had to tell work early on. And they were like, okay, what do you need to do? And I was like, absolutely nothing. Like, okay, do you need access to a bathroom really quickly? And I was like, no.
Thankfully, no.
I'm fine, you know. It was the last, I think, because with IVF babies, you have regular growth scans.
Yeah.
And what I didn't know, and what I really think they should put in the leaflet is, on average, IVF babies are about 5 ounces heavier than a non-IVF
Wow.
baby. Now, and this is just me and my mum obviously being really stupid, but our thoughts were an IVF baby would weigh less. And this was our thinking. If you get veg out the freezer and you defrost it, it shrinks, doesn't it, when you cook it? Because you've taken the water out. So we had to go and see a consultant, just again, because it was IVF. And he went, yeah, well, the baby is on the larger side, but some babies are. We're going to test you for gestational diabetes. And I was like, oh, God, we're typical. I've had a really easy pregnancy, but here we go. Which thankfully I didn't have. And he was just like, yeah, well, on average, they're about 5 ounces heavier. I was like, sorry, I filled out so much paperwork to do this, and
never been told.
No one said this to me. I said, well, why is that? And he went, I don't know.
Oh, they don't even know.
Maybe they do at the IVF team side of it, but he just sort of went, I didn't ask questions. I just heard that was a fact
Just
from one of my IVF colleagues.
I read it on Google. And
he was like, so that's that. And obviously Bobby was definitely that baby.
What did he weigh again?
913 and a half.
Ooh.
That was coming out the sunroof.
There's no other way out, mate.
Oh, that was not going to happen.
No.
They did warn me he'd probably get stuck on the way out because of the percentages of his head, shoulders and tummy. So I sort of went, look, if you can see this car crash coming,
if you're going to end up in one anyway.
Yeah. Why aren't we just skipping past it?
Because I don't get that if they see it and then they still encourage you to do a normal labour and then, not a normal labour, sorry, a vaginal birth, shall we say.
Yeah.
But then they've got an inkling it's going to be a C-section. Why not just...
So I had the gestational diabetes test and they went, NA, you're absolutely fine. So you sort of go, whew, okay, I haven't done anything here, even though I am sat at home going, good, I want chocolate, good, I want Chinese food.
But sometimes it's not caused by your food, it can just come.
No, it's not. And, but I think with everything in pregnancy, you go, I've done something.
Oh yeah, of course. The mum guilt starts that minute you're pregnant.
Horrendous. And so as they were doing more regular growth scans, saying, right, he's in the 95th centile, he's in the 97th centile, and I'm thinking, oh my God, how accurate are these things? And they were like, they're pretty, we can't be 100%, but, if he's shown 97. In the 97th, even if we're wrong by 10%, he's still pretty big.
Yeah.
And so they tested me again for gestational diabetes towards the end of pregnancy. And again, you're thinking, oh God, I've done something. What have I done? Yeah. Because
you start to panic.
I knew it wasn't what I'd done, but you can't. They don't mean to, but I think everything is sort of geared at, well, you've got gestational diabetes. Yeah. You'll have to watch your sugar. You'll have to monitor it. It's a bit like, and even if they don't mean it that way, you take it that way.
You feel that everything feels at you, doesn't it? Against you.
Yeah.
Especially with all the hormones.
Oh, everything. Everything just makes you feel the world's against you and judging you.
Literally. Drink
cranberry juice out of a wine glass and you've got some old bat eyeball in you. That used to be fun, though.
I promise it's cranberry juice.
And the only thing that made me feel so much better is when he was born, and he was obviously huge. One of the midwives said to me, do you want to see a placenta? And I went, oh my God, who wants to see that? Yeah, you strike me as the sort that would. And I went, that's in a biohazard bag for a reason. Get that out of here.
Get it out my sight.
No, it's a really good one. It really doesn't matter to me. And she went, no, that's why he's so big. It proves you've got really good cardiovascular health. And I thought, hang on, the whole way through this,
nobody knew this.
Everyone said probably gestational diabetes.
And it was the opposite.
And so it's the opposite that I've actually, well, not that I've done it.
So fit and healthy.
It was the classes. It was you.
Well,
what can I say? It's all those
you did the work. I just told you what to do.
But yeah, it was all geared towards doom and gloom. And then
did
it was
you end
actually,
up looking at it?
No, to hell. It was in a biohazard bag. Get rid of that. I could have sold it online for a fortune,
I'm
sure.
I had a show and tell with mine. She was holding mine up at the end of bed. I've got pictures and everything. I was amazed.
Gives me the idea it'd be like looking at a bat wing or something. That's not for me. All the veins and...
No, I can show you a picture if you want.
No, gross.
No, but they said that they were like that with me. They were like, it's absolutely massive, which I'm guessing is a good thing.
Well, I think so.
But then,
apparently.
I saw a thing the other day about how much weight you put on when you're pregnant and all the things that factor into it, and your placenta is obviously quite a big weight.
Well, to be honest, every time I got checked, they would like palpate my stomach and they go, God, that is all baby. And I was constantly thinking, you say that to everyone.
Yeah, literally.
You know, we're all walking around, we're all waddling around, feeling sorry for ourselves.
And you make me feel worse.
And you're going, that's all baby, don't worry. You know, thinking once it comes out, your belly will go concave.
Yeah.
My God, within like, I mean, when I stayed in hospital overnight, because he was obviously C-section, I got weighed in the morning. So obviously they weigh you before you give birth, which I think is the rudest thing they could possibly do.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Oh, I do.
I will have got but I think I was just past it then, as in peeing.
I was like, just stick me on the scales and let's just...
I didn't look at any weight because I didn't want to get fixated on how much I put on.
I didn't care how much I put on. I was just like,
Yeah.
it just seems cruel.
Yeah, kick a woman while she's
I know,
down.
I feel terrible. I'm like about to have major surgery. Let me just hop on the scales
Call
for
me
you.
fat as well. Thanks.
Look at the jiggle.
Look at the waddle.
And then they weighed me before I went home for my anticoagulant injection, the inoxaparin
Yeah.
that you have to have. And I think from one day to the next, not even just because he was out, like after he was out, I'd lost like 5 kilos overnight.
Oh my God.
And I was like, this is the best diet I've ever been.
I need to pop another one out.
Right, let's go. Let's have another one.
It's mad, isn't it?
Crazy.
I couldn't get my head around the fact that when I'd had it, my belly didn't disappear. I don't know what I expected for it to happen. But you know, like, it was there, but it was jiggly. And I was like, I can't get my head around that she was in there. And now I don't know. It was just...
I read something that really freaked me out, and then I didn't want to get off the bed after I'd had him because it was obviously something stupid, like on Instagram or whatever. And it was like, you know, because obviously as the baby's growing, it's moving all of your organs out the way. So when they take it out, the organs, when you stand up, will shift back. And I thought, I don't want to feel my spleen and my intestine move, actually. I don't need gravity to do that for me. So to get up for the first time, I was like,
holding everything up.
This jelly belly. Like, oh God, please don't let me feel it go. Woof.
Oh,
I
I've
don't
never
remember
thought
it
about
doing
that, you know.
No, well,
I've never
horror
thought
story.
about it going back.
Horror story. I didn't
Obviously,
feel it,
they
but
get so squished, don't they, when you... Have you ever seen a
mean, no.
picture of that?
I think he squished me.
Yeah. Have you ever seen a picture, though, of how your organs move? It's insane.
And that's why it scared me.
Yeah.
Oh God, I was horrendous the last 2 months of pregnancy. Rick had to sleep in a separate room because I couldn't breathe. I was like... It wasn't even snoring. It was just like, it was more like a sleep apnea. Like he was so heavy.
Yeah.
And he's obviously pushing on my lungs
like a
and my
workout.
stomach. It was horrendous.
Because you've got less lung capacity, haven't you?
One night I got up 10 times to have a wee.
Oh.
10 times.
I don't miss that.
No, I do not miss that.
No.
But then I forgot about that afterwards because I had this beautiful baby.
You do.
And I was all stitched up and I was in no pain whatsoever.
Amazing.
Like,
Good.
Did I tell you they accidentally discharged me and him 4 o'clock in the morning when I had him?
Yeah.
And so I had no pain relief the whole next day. I had paracetamol the next day.
I don't know how you cope.
And I wasn't in any pain. I could feel like a tightness, but I thought, well, they've just stitched me up. Of course it's going to feel like that.
How bad is that, by the way?
I know. Well, thankfully
Just
it
take
was
that
me.
baby off you go. Need the
know.
room.
I was like, but it was the fact I'd said to the midwife, I think I'm due pain relief. And she just looked at me like, I don't think you are.
I don't think you exist on our records
And then
anymore.
she came back in like half an hour later, panicking.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, you haven't had any Oromorph today. I was like, I know.
I told you that.
I
Half
could
an
have
hour
told you that,
ago.
but I'm fine.
Can I have some?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
How did you find recovery of your C-section?
Do you know what? Again, I'm the one everyone hates. Absolutely fine.
But you've done all the hard work for the years leading up to him. You deserved this.
That, yeah, maybe. But
So-
I am still that person that everyone goes,
Yeah.
oh, shut up, will you?
It's got to be someone.
But I bled through my dressing almost immediately in recovery.
Oh, really?
So they were marking it with a pen to see
How much?
how much I was bleeding. And in the end, by the time I was on the ward, they said, "Do you know what? This isn't working." And I had this, I don't know what sort of dressing it was, but it was sort of a suction-y dressing. Had a little battery pack attached to it.
Ooh.
So I don't know if that helped with my healing. I do heal very fast anyway.
Yeah. Good genes.
But yeah. But I don't know if it was that or if it was me or if it was a combination of the two. When they came and took my dressing off a week after I had him, they were amazed. My
Good.
stitches were gone. It was like a pink line.
Wow.
I've shown friends since, and mine probably looks better than theirs does years later
Good.
because it's just
Not good on your friends. Like,
No,
good
but,
that it's
like,
healing so
it
well.
just absolutely fine.
Because there's so many C-section horror stories.
Yeah.
It's insane.
But this is where I see them, and I think I didn't have any of this. The worst part was because of the time that we had it, in Arab Park, they have a protected handover. So there's for an hour, I think it's between 7 and 8 p.m, nobody can come off of the ward or go on.
Oh, yeah.
So I was ready to go up at like 5 to 7 and they couldn't take me up.
Oh.
So the hour you've done in recovery ended up being 2 hours for me.
Yeah.
Which meant we missed like my mum visiting and like, I mean, she still got her way in, don't get me wrong. She lurked around the corridors, but that was fine. But then that just pushes everything back by that extra hour, and then you're obviously catheterised after you've had the baby.
And when you're in hospital an hour, it's like a day.
Oh, no. It wasn't so bad because you're obviously telling everyone you've had the baby and FaceTime, and so it goes quite quickly.
Yeah.
But when you're on the ward afterwards, and because I was catheterised, they never ever said to me, to remove the catheter, we need to have 500 mils in it. Didn't say that to me at any point. And it got to midnight, and I'm lying there, I'm tired, Rick's tired, I've got the baby, and I said, you know, when are we getting this room? She said, oh, you've not put enough in your catheter. And I don't know what you're talking about. She said, oh, you've only got 100 mils. I said, well, how much am I supposed to have?
I'll make it happen.
500. And I went, right, Rick, fill that jug.
Let's get going.
And I went, that's it. If you'd told me that hours ago,
we'd have been in there hours ago
because I'd just kept drinking. I drank on an empty stomach until I almost vomited on my own newborn. And I went,
and then
Rick, take the baby.
It.
I went, Rick, take the baby. But I refused to let it out. That was coming out as urine and no other way.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, we were getting
I was getting that room.
And we didn't get in our room until 10 to 4.
Oh.
And Rick was on one of those chairs where it just sort of, you push back and it reclines a bit.
And it's more uncomfortable.
Relax, it shoots back up. In the end, I said to him, just go home. One of us needs to get some sleep.
One of us has got to be like sound minds.
So he left. Thankfully, my midwife, when he left at 5, I just said, look, I need to get some sleep. You guys can't watch my baby. I appreciate that. But he was grunting. And so every time someone came in, they'd call a doctor. There was absolutely nothing wrong with him. But every time they hear a noise like that,
panic.
They have to call a doctor. So if he made a noise, I checked him. If he didn't make a noise, I checked him. So if Rick left, that was me. Every time he breathed, just watching, just checking over the top, and I'd lie back and I'd relax, and I'd hear a noise and I'd look again.
You're on edge, aren't you?
And you can't help it, because all that's happened
it's your
is
instinct anyway.
Well, I don't even think it was instinct. It was the fact someone's given you this thing and said, keep it alive.
It's yours, bye.
That was it. There was no, this is what you're looking out for.
Here's your manual.
They went, the baby's grunting, we need a doctor to see him. Okay, what does that mean? Like, that was, okay, bye. See you next time. And the doctor would come in and go, he's fine. And then someone else would hear him grunt and go, we'd have to call the doctor. And they'll call a different doctor. And the doctor would go, he's fine. Which meant every 2 hours they were doing Bobby's observations. So he was stripped off, nappy off, everything.
Oh, God.
So if he was asleep, he was woken up. Then I'd get him dressed again. Then the doctor would come to see him because he'd been grunting, so they'd wake him up again. Then I'd get him back to sleep and he'd go back down. Then he'd need feeding. Then someone would come in to do my obs. Then someone would go. Then they go, you need to have something to eat. Here's this. Have you got up and had a walk today? You need to go and do that.
No, because you all won't leave me alone.
In the end, my mum was in the hospital with me between, I think, 6 in the morning and like 11 a.m. And when she went to leave, obviously Rick was there, and she said to Rick, she needs to sleep. And Rick was like, yeah, of course. But I don't think he appreciated how often people were coming in.
Yeah, especially like because you're the one that they're checking, you and him.
Yeah.
So he's kind of in the background. They've forgotten about the dads, aren't they? So they don't know.
That's why I felt so sorry for him during the section, because he's just left in a corner while his wife has this great big needle shoved in her back.
Traumatic.
And, you know, then I'm flipped and they're cutting me wide open. He's just got to sit there with a sheet and me going, I don't think this is okay. And then the shakes start because of all the meds you've got in you. And he's going, it's fine. You can see.
And
in
he's
his face,
got to stay calm.
Fine.
Rick, I know you the best. Yeah. I know that's not an okay face.
That's not fine.
Now be fine.
Yeah. Let's work on that smile, shall we? A bit more convincing.
Please. Bless him.
But yeah, in the end, he said, do you want me to just sit outside this door and stop people coming in? Because every time I would drift off, they'd come in, they'd need me or Bobby or both or something.
Yeah. It's a lot.
It was a lot.
You're already exhausted because your body's been through a major surgery.
You don't even think about it that way.
But it has.
And
if you went to any other surgery, you'd have so much recovery. You'd have a baby as well to look after.
You wouldn't be home. Like, I had him 5 o'clock on the Monday and I was home by 11 a.m. on the Wednesday.
Mad, isn't it?
And that was like not even go home and recover. That was recover, but also
Be a
look
mum.
after this child, this precious thing.
This thing is
that
waiting
can't
for
do
you.
anything
Yeah.
for itself. Keep that alive.
Yeah.
And also, you don't know how to do that, so good luck.
Hope you do it well.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I had
We'll be coming to
Nyla-
check
yeah,
randomly.
I'll be coming to judge you in 2 weeks. I had Nyla at, I think it was 2:05 in the morning, and it took me nearly an hour for me to get the placenta out, and then they had to stitch me up, and then they were like, "Do you want to go home?" So it was like 4 in the morning, and I was like, "I absolutely do not want to drive home at 4 a.m. We're both knackered." I was like, "Get me a room."
Yeah.
And they were just ready to send us home because I got up and walked.
Yeah.
I was like, that does not mean I am mentally prepared to take
No.
this child home. I was like, it's the middle of the night. I'm not driving with a 2-hour-old baby.
No.
It was mental. Obviously, they need the space, but I was like, we're staying, Josh.
You've
And
got to
even
just
he
have
was
a few
like,
hours.
I wouldn't have felt safe either of us driving.
No, not after all the adrenaline
Yeah,
rush and
'cause-
everything, and then you're in that crash.
Yeah, we went into hospital at 6, just after 6 p.m. Or was it 7 p.m? And then we're both running from the morning. He'd been in work all day as well.
Yeah, I remember.
On top of it. So I was like, whoopsie.
What a truther.
I know, I don't know how he did it. No, at one point when I was
Poor him,
when
eh?
I was in labour, he left the room to make himself a cup of tea. He went, it was getting a bit too much, just couldn't cope in there. He was like, but he meant, I was like, you must be having a laugh. But he meant he couldn't watch me because I was like, don't touch me, please.
Yeah.
He was like, do you want me to rub you back? I was like, honestly, get the fuck away from me.
Yeah.
And he was like, I can't cope not being able to help you.
Yeah.
So I gave him a job of making my flannel cold every so often.
They
Put on
just
my
need
head.
something to do, though,
Yeah.
don't they?
Yeah, just give him a job. Get me a Capri Sun. Wet me flannel. Get me a Capri Sun.
I know. Well, that was the thing in the C-section. They can't do anything.
No, they are literally helpless.
We
Are
went
they
in,
allowed to look?
not behind the curtain.
No.
I would have looked. I would have found that so interesting, but I'm like that, so
Oh no, that's my
I'm
idea of
actually a
hell.
bit disappointed that there's
Good
one
video.
midwife in there. Well, there's one midwife who's just in charge of taking pictures. Like, she takes your phone, she takes the pictures.
Yeah.
It's obviously so you don't see anything. But I've tried.
Yeah.
I really wanted to see, but can't see anything. Nothing
Zoomed
at
in
all.
on every reflection.
Yeah, I'm like, I want to see. That's so interesting that, I did have this great big stomach and now all of a sudden, okay, it's open. I get that. And it's mad,
mad.
but there was a person in there.
Like 6 layers, isn't it?
I think it's 8.
8 layers.
I think so.
There is a lot.
Might be 6 and then they've got other stuff to move, like, because they've obviously got to move your bladder and stuff out the way.
Oh, I have to check that.
Thankfully, they moved mine. I'm
Yeah,
fine.
I'm still intact. I had a mum in class and she had a C-section and they actually sewed her C-section to her womb lining. It's horrendous. So, like, she's had issues ever since, but there's nothing they could do now because it's actually healed together. So the womb and their skin touch, whereas there's meant to be like a layer
Yeah.
in between of like fat or whatever. Isn't that horrible?
That's horrific.
Like, I'm so glad you had a good one because you hear so many.
Honestly, we had the best pregnancy, the best C-section. By the time we got home on the Wednesday, he slept. We had a cup of tea. We watched all the TV we'd missed out on.
Oh, that's the best time, them 2 weeks. And you can just, all they do is sleep and all you do is sit and
Yeah.
watch.
Like, at one point, Rick said to me, we had the TV on, he went, is he supposed to be that quiet? And I went, well, yeah, he's a newborn.
Yeah.
And he went, well, you could just go out and leave him. I went, yeah, funnily enough, no, you couldn't.
You can. It's very, very illegal.
Yeah. Weirdly, there's a big scar on my body that says I'm very aware he's there.
Yeah. I do know.
I know where he is at all times.
Yeah. No, it's mad. But how long after having the C-section then did you go out?
We went out, I think 2 days after we got home with him because part of our pram was the wrong colour or something like that. So we just went and swapped.
Thing, didn't you, over there?
And then 5 days after my C-section, I just couldn't sit in the house. And I didn't want to drive places. I wanted to get out and walk, which was a stupid idea in hindsight because I walked up to my mum's house, which is a really, really easy walk, but it's like up Bidston Hill.
When you're not after a C-section.
Yeah.
It's an easy
And
walk.
because I felt absolutely fine.
Yeah.
And I walked there and I thought, that did take a bit out of me, but I'm going to sit down and have a cup of tea. Well done, me. And then you forget, like, even though you've had a C-section, you're actively bleeding.
Yeah. You are recovering.
Yeah. And, fine. Had a cup of tea, saw my mum, walked home. and I was lightheaded, I was dizzy, and then I got home and I was bleeding hugely. But what they don't tell you, and they still don't, is it better to, after you've had it, if you bleed a lot, are you sort of getting rid of everything you need to, or should your bleeding be constantly decreasing?
Yeah.
And they just sort of go,
these are things you're
it
not
is
told.
what it is.
Yeah.
Because I did ask when I was in hospital, you know, what am I looking for it to stop or slow? What? And they went, for a few weeks, it just is what it is. So to do this big walk and to come home and then to be bleeding quite a lot, I thought,
I don't know what.
I've done something wrong here. And no, it was just part and parcel of the glamorous life of postpartum.
Yeah. I remember, because you get clots, obviously, don't you, after?
Do you know what? I was waiting for some because I thought, well, that might be a sign I'm starting to heal. Nothing.
Because I remember them saying, like, if it's bigger than 50p, it's fine. If it's bigger than 50p, ring up and ask.
Yeah.
And I remember I got one once and I had to text my sister and she sent me a picture of her blood clot so we could compare it.
Just compare and
and I was like, what has our life become?
Mum life.
But it was bigger than a 50p and I showed my doctor.
Yeah,
and she was like, yeah, it's fine. And I was like, so why'd you say this if then I'm going to show you? I panicked for the whole day waiting to see you. And then you said it's fine anyway. Because everything's so scary in those, like, in that time.
Well, they panicked me as well because you've got to wear the anti-embolism stockings. But, you know, when you get a shower, you can take them off. So I'd take them off, put them in the wash, and then I go to put them back on. And then you're thinking, what if I've developed a blood clot in that time and I put these stockings back on and I dislodge it, shoots off? If I take them off, should they not just stay off?
Yeah.
Then you're thinking, well, should I keep carrying
You're
on
an
with my
overthinker.
injections? Then I'm thinking, oh my God, what am I going to do here?
And next thing you know, you're in a spiral.
Well, the next thing you know, you've got chest pain because you're panicking. You're thinking it's a pulmonary embolism. Right, get in the car, we're going training.
Quick, let's get up there. No, it is scary, and I don't think you're told enough.
No.
There's more emphasis on the baby than the mum who's
Completely.
just gone through it. And obviously the baby is very important, but everybody's looking at the baby. Every single person.
I found when the health visitors and the midwives came to the house, they were interested in what he weighed. Aside from that,
Nothing.
they weren't that bothered about him. They were bothered about me. And because I was pretty much fine, off they
That's
went.
good.
The only thing they said was, and it sort of knocked us back a little bit. And again, it makes you feel like a bad mum. At his 2-week check, he had lost more weight. Now, bear in mind, he was 9.13.5 when he was born. He was a big lad. So I think he went down to, like 9.10 or 9.11 at, you know, his 5-day check. And then he was like 9.6 when the midwives came after 2 weeks to sign him off. And they basically said, well, we can't sign him off because he's lost more weight. You need to be feeding him every 2 hours. It needs to be this. You have to wake him. You've got to do that. You know, and I could show them the log. Rick and I kept a really thorough paper log of every single thing we'd fed him, if he'd been sick, which that child isn't sick. That food goes down and
He's
not
not getting rid of it.
And we had everything written down and they basically just said, you've just got to keep going. You know, you've just got to feed him more. I'm thinking, their stomachs are tiny.
You can't, it's like a pea, isn't it?
You can't feed them more. I can try and feed him more often, but if that kid doesn't want to eat, he's not opening his mouth.
Yeah, you can't force that baby to do anything it doesn't want.
There was a, you know, health CSW in the hospital who basically said to me, can't believe I haven't fed him in 4 hours. He doesn't know he's hungry,
That's
and
exactly what they do.
Forced a bottle in his mouth and he just spat it straight back out in her face. I was like, because he's not hungry.
Their only instinct is to eat.
Well, surely the only thing they
That's
feel
all they
is
know.
pain, and everything to them is pain. Being hungry, being cold, actual pain. It's all just to them is just being
The same
uncomfortable, which is
thing,
just
yeah.
pain. So if they cry, you've only got to look for one of a few things.
Yeah.
If he's fast asleep, I'm not
He's
waking him
fine.
up.
Yeah, that's one of the things I hate. And then people get really fixated on it as well, I find.
Well, the good thing was that I just sort of went, look, if you want to feed my baby, that's fine. I'm going to have a shower.
Yeah.
That's not
Sounds
a problem.
Free nursery, yeah.
But then, you know, you get workers like that. And then I had one who overnight was just the best in the world because they tell you, obviously, when they're only a few hours old, it's 20 mils, I think, you're supposed to have. And because they were getting all my pain relief in order and everything like that, they were like, feed him 20 mils, then we're going to come in and give you pain relief, and then you feed him again. And they were getting it in this order. And they were like, by 11 o'clock, he should be fed. All your pain relief will be in place. You can both have a sleep. And like 11 o'clock, we both fell asleep. 11:15, he screamed. And he was screaming and crying. I thought, this kid does not, I know he's only like a day old, but he's not done this before. What's happening? Then I start to panic. What have I done?
Yeah.
I'm missing something in his mum. I've fed him what he's supposed to have. I've winded him. I've changed his nappy. I've cuddled him. He's wrapped up in a blanket. Then I was like, he's too cold. He needs to be on me. But I'm so tired. If I fall asleep, then they're going to shout at me because it's unsafe. And thank God for this worker. I never got her name and I feel really terrible. She came in and she went, well, what's going on? I was like, well, I don't know why he's crying. She went, feed him, he's your baby. I said, well, they told me it's got to be this, it's got to be that.
Yeah.
She went, he's your baby. If he's hungry, feed him. And I said, well, I'm scared he's cold and I want to put him on me and I'll fall asleep. And she went, look, I'll be the next person that comes in this room. If you fall asleep holding him and it's unsafe, I'll take him for a cuddle and a walk.
That's all you need, that one person.
And you know what?
like
you just
that.
need that one person to say that to you and you go, oh my God, I can breathe.
Yeah.
So
Because you are told so many things and it just sets you straight into
and
panic.
she just sort of went, look, what if 25 mils is what he needs? What if it's 21 and you're giving him 20?
Needs more.
So what if it's 21 mils? You're 1 mil short. He's crying and screaming. You give him that
1
two
mil,
other drops.
He's fine.
And he's fine.
Even 0.5 of a mil, he's probably happy.
Do you know what? My mother-in-law said it perfectly for Bobby. She said he can't be full. He's got to be full to the brim.
That sounds like me.
Honestly, you can feed that kid, but if he feels like you've shortchanged him, you are going to know about it. You can't take that bottle out of his mouth
That's
to
his
win
value
him.
for money.
He really does. He really does.
That's good. It's good that he wants to eat loads. But what you say is true. Like, it could just be that 1 mil difference.
Yes.
But you're starting to spiral into all the things that people have put
Well,
in
then
your
you've
head.
got pain and no sleep and this baby crying at you and nobody's there.
That cry sets off something inside, like
horrible.
sheer panic.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my goodness, I've never felt anything like it.
I had that panic twice, probably that once in the hospital and I was completely alone. And then once, did I tell you when we bathed him and I got some soap in his mouth?
No.
I've never, ever panicked like it. It was like his second ever bath. And Rick had to take a phone call at 9:00 and I knew that it was for work. And we washed the baby together, that was fine. I got a tiny bit of soap in his mouth and he screamed. And obviously he did because he's only used to milk.
Doesn't know what to do.
He doesn't know what that is. And he was red in the face, like going towards purple. Then he was not breathing. Then he was breathing. Then he would scream. And he wasn't due a feed. But I said to Rick, the only thing I can think is we feed him because that's the taste he's used to.
And it's calming as well a bit sometimes, isn't it?
I thought that's what he needs. So he took that bottle like he hadn't been fed. And I thought, oh my God, he must have been starving. No, it was either he drank it far too quickly or the soap was in his stomach and it unsettled him because for only the second time in his life he projectile vomited. And I don't know how I still love this child, but it was directly in my face.
Was your mouth closed?
It was, thank God.
Thank goodness.
Oh, and it was down my face, down my top,
There's
on my
nothing like
pants.
the smell of baby sick as well.
And then he was totally fine, but he was covered in vomit after
He
his
was like,
bath.
Mum, you put something in my mouth, watch this.
And he was covered in it, I was covered in it. So Rick's on this really important call. I've had to go upstairs, strip the baby, strip myself, dress the baby. And then I thought, I can't take my eyes off him now because what if he's sick again?
Yeah,
what
panic.
if he chokes on it? Oh my God. So Rick then comes back into the living room. 10 minutes after he's left, I'm in my underwear. Bobby's in his pajamas.
Like,
There's sick on my glasses. And he went,
I was gone 10 minutes, Deb.
He was like, what's happened? I was like, take this child.
It is, though. It's like you just feel the guilt. And it's an accident.
But you know what? It was when he was crying and screaming, and Rick didn't mean it this way. He was like, oh my God, what have you done? And he didn't mean it that way.
Yeah.
It was like, the baby's screaming.
We need to figure it out.
We don't know what's happened. What is it that's upset him? And I was physically the one bathing him. So it was what I had done. But then I got short and snippy.
Defensive,
as like,
yeah.
What do you mean, what have I done? Oh my God, the baby's screaming and crying. Why can't you be more helpful?
Yeah.
And he hadn't done anything wrong.
Poor Rick.
I had done something wrong. And I look back on it now and think, that might have been a bit of an overreaction.
At that point, no.
But at that point, my baby is screaming. I know it's my fault.
Yeah.
I
It does
can't
set off
fix
some
it.
panic inside you like you've never felt in your life.
No.
And then everyone's the enemy, including the baby.
Oh, yeah. Why won't you stop crying? I'm doing everything I can.
Please shut up when your dad comes up and makes you calm down.
And then I'm definitely the baddie.
And then I'll look like a bad mum. I know, I used to hate that. If Nala wouldn't calm down for me and she would for Josh straight away, I'd be like...
He's pretty good at calming for me at the minute.
Good.
We'll see.
You know what work used to work a treat for Nyla? Michael Jackson on YouTube, Rock With You.
Do you know what? I will try that because I've been playing music rather than having the TV on, and Nirvana Smells Like Teen Spirit came on before and he kicked off like you've never seen.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, she used to love the video because it's quite psychedelic. Reminds me of like, you know, a kaleidoscope when we were younger. It reminds me of that. And Knock on Wood, another one. I'm sure there was an Earth, Wind and Fire one too, but she would like, as soon as Michael Jackson came on, she'd be like, and it'd just calm, and I was like, okay, we'll listen to this on repeat for the next 5 hours. But yeah, don't know how we came across it. I did anyway. I'm a huge MJ fan.
Aren't we all?
Yeah. So yeah, but yeah, being a mum, just amazing. Hard.
It is.
But
There's nothing else you can say, is there? It's not like anything you've ever done before or you'll never do
not.
again.
Thank God, no, I'm joking. No, but it's nice to see you transition from like so many, I've seen so many big parts of your life.
I know.
It's amazing. And like the fact that you've trusted me to come back with him.
Well, wasn't going to go
Means
to
a
anyone
lot.
else realistically.
Good. But it means a lot that you've come for me for your wedding. You come back when you had your baby. Well, before you had him as well.
Well, before I had him, after I had him.
Yeah. What's next? I'm joking.
I know. God.
What am I going to say?
Grandparent?
Not yet.
You and me.
Yeah, together.
The elderly doing our little...
Yeah. I'll do an old lady class then. That'd be good. But thank you so much for coming on. It was great to have you, and I hope you enjoyed it.
I did.
Good. Thank you
Maybe
so
get
much.
something decent. I was just wittering.
So am I. Every day. Thank you so much.
Very welcome. Thank you.